Happy Thursday. This is Ken Posick here in Orlando, and this is Orlando Real Live. Tonight we're talking about Orlando ranking number one in this one thing. It ranks a lot of things, but we're going to talk a little bit about schools. We're going to talk about development. We're going to get into your questions and answers tonight. But first thing we do every single time is we start off our show, and where are you guys watching from? We love to see people tuning in from all over the world, but a lot of times it's somewhere else in the country considering moving here, or maybe you live here already. Let's see. Fix this, dismiss. There we go. And so we already have people checking in. We got George checking in from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. We've got Mark hanging out, says, let's get this party started. I am ready. First show of the year. I took last week off because I was hanging out with my family. Hope you were as well. We got Sean checking in from Claremont. Hope my running buddy is doing well out there. Hope are you taking advantage of the Disney marathon weekend? I did not make it this time. I'm going to be trying to run every single Disney run for the rest of the year, but we'll see how that goes. We've got a lot of people checking in already. This is awesome. Stephanie James checking in from Simpsonville, South Carolina. Good to see you. Pickles hanging out. I know you're here locally. Shout out to your Detroit Lions. Let's go. I see your avatar. Got the Gibbs and the Goff. I'm all about it. This is good stuff. We got Brenda checking in from St. Charles, Illinois. Sergio checking in from California, but to be Florida bound. You know, Sergio, hope you and you're doing your family out in California. If you're in the LA area, we started getting calls already from people considering a Florida move with everything going on. But our hearts and our thoughts go out to everybody that's going on in the Palisades area. Absolutely tragic what's going on there for sure. Jersey Johnny says checking in from Jersey. Go figure. I definitely hear that. Let's see. So Orlando ranks number one. Tech, let's get into your question there first and foremost. So this is an interesting one that came out that led in a lot of news cycles. So we've got Florida, or I'm sorry, specifically Orlando. It leads the nation top 60 markets for GDP growth in 2023. Now, this is above Seattle, Charlotte, Raleigh, Tampa, which is always our neighbor to the south, but always something that's going back and forth on who's having the most amount of growth. We've got Jacksonville, Austin, Miami, Vegas. We beat out all of them in regards to overall growth in 2023. So obviously the numbers are a year behind. And so now that we've closed the books on 2024, the Census Bureau is putting out what exactly is going on. And so the Orlando Economic Partnerships kind of put out why they believe in this article that we saw so much growth. And it was 25 companies either relocated to Orlando's market or they expanded in Orlando's market. So it's really exciting. We had 3,100 new jobs that were net in the city. And there's a lot of other cities in Orlando that are in Florida that did well as well. So Punta Gorda, Ocala, Sebring, and Sarasota, Bradenton, all of those were up roughly 10%. But in regards to the top markets, 60 markets in the country, Orlando ranked number one. Does that surprise you guys? This is actually, to me, going through the job creation and just different things that are going on here all the time. I love to see it, but let me know what you guys think. Someone says I'm breaking up badly. Oh man, that's rough. Let me know what you think, Chase, out there. Let's see. Hello from cold Canada, coming to Orlando shortly. Well, I hope to see you soon. Sean says, hey, I've been off running for only a year, but I'm hoping to get back into it. I just signed up for the Florida Run Club that runs in Horizon West. I got to check out. You got to DM me. Let me know. I want more information. Sergio says, we're good, brother, out in LA. That's good to hear. J.A. Goldsmith checking in from Virginia Beach. I love that. E2 Lake Nona renter now. Loving it. Good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Chris checking in from Arizona and other people from Ocoee and all around. So yeah, please keep letting us know down below. Hopefully our feed will get a little bit better as we go on here through the night. All right. So what else is going on that I think is interesting here in Florida anyways? So DeSantis, he pitches moving the NASA headquarters to Florida. So Governor DeSantis this week came out and he said, hey, they're courting trying to get NASA to leave the nation's capital. Apparently there's interest in moving the headquarters from right here to Kennedy Space Center. And so right now they've got this massive building. This is a quote from DeSantis. They have this massive building in DC and nobody actually goes there. So why not shutter it and move everybody down here? It sounds like there's going to be $500 million in new building up in DC that nobody's going to go to anyway. So why not try Central Florida? Now, I think this is an exciting thing. Obviously, there's a lot more things going on with the Space Coast and the fact that Orlando is so close over to the Space Coast. We've got a lot of big leases coming off on the east side, right outside of like the Sunbridge area. Blue Origin signed one of the biggest leases in all of Florida here, right outside of Sunbridge. Let's see, actually, let me go over here. This is from the OBJ. They talked about some of the top leases, and you had Blue Origin. This is in the Venture Park Beach line, which is the Sunbridge kind of commercial area, the commercial development over there. It's going to be a massive thing. When you think about how close the Space Coast is to Orlando, we're only like 45 minutes away. So if DeSantis's thing goes through and he can woo them away from DC and get them to move to Orlando, or at least outside of Orlando, I think that's going to be great. It's going to continue our job creation here, create more opportunities. There's a lot more things going on at, say, UCF and a lot of the other colleges here that are specializing in the space industry. So it would make sense that we would get NASA in our backyard. I'm still kind of curious to see. There was that a couple of weeks ago, that story that came out. There was a mystery company that's going to be spending like $1.8 billion over on the coast. And so I think it's good. It's good for us overall. Different jobs, more people moving here, different types of economy, I think is something that I've been preaching for quite some time, with just sort of the diversity beyond hospitality. I love the theme parks. I love everything going on there. But if we could get some diverse economy, I think that would be a wise move. Let's keep going on Sunbridge. I think that's actually an interesting one for us to talk about. So the Growth Spotter put out an article this past week. It says Taylor Morrison buys Sunbridge neighborhood for $41 million. Now, I did a whole video about Sunbridge maybe a month ago, and we got to go behind the scenes with the senior VP of development for the neighborhood, and he walked us through sort of their conservation efforts and how they're trying to make it the naturehood and everything else going on there. And one of the videos, parts of the videos, he walked us over to the watershed, and he was like, there's going to be a neighborhood that kind of goes right around this watershed area, both with the amenity center plus the restaurants and that kind of thing. Well, it turns out that actually builder is going to be Taylor Morrison. So Taylor Morrison, they ended 20. So this is from Laura Kinsler over there, Growth Spotter. What's going on, Laura? It ended 2024 with another big land closing, paying $41 million to be the first Sunbridge residential neighborhood in the city of Orlando. And it does also appear that they're going to be moving forward with Sunbridge Neighborhood 6. They're excited to work through the approvals and be happy to share more as things come along. So the first phase that they're going to have there is 87 lots. This is, again, in the Orlando side, it appears. But let's look at some of the other things that are going on in that whole watershed area. So this is like the lake there that we kind of were able to show you guys. Let's see, let me get rid of my face to show you guys there. And then right beyond there, you're going to have the amenity center that sort of overlooks it. I'm just excited to see what happens with that Sunbridge, not only with the Blue Origin piece with their commerce center and the development, the business center, but it's really more specifically down in the neighborhood. Now, I think this is important. And one of the things that Tavistock has always done a really good job with, which is creating jobs and then creating residences and then creating lifestyle, and having all three of those things kind of intertwine. It creates more a healthy community, in my opinion. So let's get back over to you guys. Let's take your questions here. Chris says, hey, with Island Village and Celebration nearing completion, do you foresee Celebration expanding further, especially building new condos? So I don't believe that they're going to be building any new condos. I believe it's going to be townhouses, apartments, and then lots of different variations of single family. So Chris, you mentioned that it's nearing completion. There's actually multiple phases still to go. And this quarter, I believe it's going to be end of January, early February, they're going to be announcing that they're going to refresh their models and then update and release pricing for the next the next phase. And so that should be coming up here shortly in this quarter. So most of their first phase is already filled out in Island Village, but if that's something you're still interested in, let us know. They are talking about maybe putting that road that connects Celebration all the way back down into Reunion. So it'll be an interesting kind of thing overall to see if that happens or not. Harrison says Sunbridge equals live, work, play. I agree. Let's see. Matthew says the housing market here is terrible and the homeowners search situation is even worse. So unpack that for me, Matthew. Let me know what you think. The housing market here is terrible. What does that mean? Let's see. Amanda says, hello from Utah, moving to Winter Garden next month. That's exciting. Congratulations. We're excited to have you guys for sure. Yaz is checking in from Dr. Phillips. What's going on? Cody checking in from Apopka, hopefully soon to be Horizon West via the POSIT group. That means so much. That's awesome. So excited to have you there. VG says, not breaking up at all. We're looking good. I like it. Oh, I almost missed the mayor of Hunters Creek, JJ Hernandez. Welcome, sir. Thank you for watching. All right, let's get back into our stories. So Southern Living had an interesting article that came out this past week, and it was about the top 10 places to retire in Florida. And when I think about this, I always think to myself, like, okay, easy ones would be Naples, Fort Myers, Sarasota. Those are the ones that you can kind of go off the top of your head. And so I was thinking, hey, there's probably nothing on here that has to do with Central Florida or Orlando. And yet that actually couldn't be farther from the truth. The first thing that they said, oops, let's see over here. Try that one more time. Oh, here we go. This happened last time. You guys were actually refreshing our studio, and I couldn't be more excited to tell you, if I'm going to be honest with you. Let's see. There we go. And we are back live. Hey, Chase. All right. So top 10 places to live in Florida to retire to. The first place is Sarasota. That was like an easy one to kind of guess, if you will. The second one is Bonita Beach. What's up, dude? Chase Farmer, everybody. He's going to help me with this. Doesn't scroll right now.
Yeah. Wait for it. Hold on.
Chase has been working out. He's looking good. He's got a girlfriend now. He's like just showing off.
Wait, are we? Hold on. All good? Wait a minute.
Kim says, hey, Chase.
Hey.
Leonard says, let's go, Chase. All right.
Why aren't we scrolling in?
Your girlfriend's checking in. She just said hi.
Yeah, great. She gets to see me on the spot, sweating. Why isn't it working? Technical difficulties. Let's do this.
That's okay. We're going to keep going.
But we're going to fix it. We're going to fix it again.
All right. You got 5 seconds.
Okay. Can I switch to a different tab?
Yeah. Oh, no, it's not going to show a tab either.
Hold on.
Oh, there we go. There you go. Okay.
I fixed it.
You did? You fix it? Oh my gosh, you get to keep your job.
You know what it is?
What's that?
It's whenever these videos start to play.
Oh, on the side. The Princess Cruises over here is messing me up. Thanks, sir.
Yep.
Everybody give Chase a high five in the air there. That's great. All right, so here we go. So we got Bonita Beach is number 2. The number 3 is St. Augustine. St. Augie is freaking awesome. But the 4th one is Clermont, Florida. And if you thought that Clermont, Florida was going to be in the top 10 in places to retire in Florida, and you knew that before this article, I think you're lying. I was surprised. And yeah, it is amazing to see there's 55 and older communities there. Yes. It's a more affordable area in Greater Orlando. Yes. And so it looks as though there's now 48,000 people that live in Clermont. And so for the longest time, it was like people that maybe got a little bit priced out of Windermere, then moved to Winter Garden. And then eventually Winter Garden blew up. So then people said, okay, now I want to go to Clermont. And so Clermont and Groveland and all those areas are just seeing an absolute explosion, and it's exciting to see. So the article from Southern Living says Clermont might not have the name recognition that a lot of hot retirement spots, but it's no less worthy of your attention. The small town lies 20 miles west of Orlando in a suburban oasis in the center of the state. The cool thing is they don't have to worry about hurricanes much there. There actually is some rolling hills. If you've never been out there, it's definitely worth the trip. Clermont. So let's keep going, because there was another article that came out this week about our lovely town of Clermont. Clermont, Groveland, among cities with the most population growth in Florida over the past 4 years. So the number 1 city in terms of growth over the past 4 years, with a town of at least 10,000 residents in Florida. Number 1 was St. Cloud. Number 2 was Clermont. Number 3, Groveland. Number 4, Winter Garden. And number 5, this one surprised me, another shock, and I do this for a living, was downtown Orlando, with a 32% increase of residents in downtown Orlando. Now, this is something that I constantly get pushback over on my Instagram of people talking about what areas are going to be more exciting to live in or see growth in the future. People love to crap on downtown Orlando, and yet there are some incredible neighborhoods there. I mean, like College Park for sure. And like people will argue, like, is Central Business District actually downtown Orlando? In my opinion, I think based on this article, what I'm reading, it's like Thornton Park, Delaney Park, Soto, Milk District, Hourglass District, all of those areas, Mills 50 are kind of considered the downtown core. And so they saw a 32% increase over the past 4 years. And so I'm really I'm like a big fan. I've owned rental property down there. We hang out down there. I think that there's a big opportunity for people to kind of redo that downtown area with the office buildings. It's going to be interesting to see. But number 5 on the list, downtown Orlando. Let me know. Is that any of those surprising to you in regards to that list? So St. Cloud, Claremont, Groveland, Winter Garden, and downtown Orlando. Let's go over here. Let's see. John says he's freezing in Brockport, New York. Of course you are, man. It's New York. Come down here. You can freeze in Orlando. I'm just like chilly this week. Brian says College Park and Soto are unbelievable. Love everything that they're doing there. I agree. Sean says, hey, we moved to Claremont from Horizon West to get a larger house. It's not so bad, especially with the connector road. Yeah, eventually that connector road is going to open up that whole area. That's plus the new toll road and the other roads that are popping through over the next 3 to 4 years. It's going to be a complete game changer. Fallon says, I'm so surprised, but completely makes sense with the type of homes that there are. Many single story and affordable, plus lots of snowbirds there. Going back to the places to retire in Florida. I agree. Speaking of downtown, this is like, it's almost like I plan these articles out next. So fast growing Yotel hotel brand headed for downtown. This was actually an article that come up a couple months ago, but I was kind of thinking, what are things that are happening downtown that we haven't talked yet? We've talked so much about Westcourt. We talked about the Church Street area. We talked about a lot of other things happening, but this is another hotel outside of Westcourt that I think is going to be interesting. So this is the proposed Yotel Hotel. It's a fast-growing chain, it says, and again, by Laura Kinsler over at the Growth Spotter. That's going to be coming up downtown. Potentially, they're looking for rezoning of an old industrial area. There's going to be 253 rooms in this one. But the reason I mention it is it's kind of a cool, trendy. It feels like it belongs downtown. This thing, it's purple. Wait till you see the inside. So there's smaller micro rooms, which is why I think it would be actually really popular for people coming down to catch a game or just something a little bit more affordable. It seems a little trendy, which is not something we've seen a ton of in downtown Orlando. So I'm excited something like that is coming. So there's multiple new hotels. You've got the new entertainment district. You've got more things coming to the downtown core. I do believe we're going to start to see this kind of inkling of growth happen. So let me know down below. Are you guys hanging out downtown? And if you are, where? And would you bet on downtown? Would you say, hey, I'm going to move down there, get a place to stay, see if this is something that I can actually enjoy? Let me know what you think. All right, in case you missed it. So one of the things that people talk about often is schools. And now I can't talk about, as a real estate agent, not supposed to say like these schools are better than this school, but I can talk about overall graduation rates. And I think that this is a big one when you think about people moving here. Probably one of the only reasons I hear often is like, well, I'm not sure. I'm moving from the Northeast. The schools are really, really good. How are Florida schools in general? Well, it looks as though, this is the Florida Department of Education put this out just today. And they talked about 2023, 2024 graduation rate breaks state record at 89.7%, almost 90%. This is up from, I think it was like 70%. Let's see. Yeah. Under Governor Ron DeSantis, Florida's graduation rate has increased from 70% to 90%. And so is it mean that we fixed it all? No, of course not. We got a lot of things that we need to do to invest back into our teachers and our schools and so many other things. But I think that we are trending in the right direction. My kids are in public school and we actually really enjoy it. We feel like teacher-student ratio has been really good for us. We feel like they're having a good learning environment with a lot of different options. I know that's not everywhere. That's not every city and every area of Central Florida. But I think this is a good trend in the right direction. All right. Pickles says Mineola is a hidden gem right next to Claremont. You are absolutely right. Pickles. I'm guessing Pickles is a girl. I don't know. Pickles, maybe a dude. I don't know. Let us know. Let me know down below. Brian Day says purple for Orlando City. Oh, that's right. That would be so good. Emily says, I'm not hanging out downtown. Let me know why not. You got nothing you want to do down there? JJ says, I'm not hanging out downtown, but Crush Yard Orlando, have you gone? It's a place, if I haven't gone with the family, I have not gone there. I'm going to pick that up right after this. I was going through some permitting data. We're going to talk, this is like a permitting data section. Eventually, as we redo the studio, and Chase is going to be producing the show shortly. Wait till you see the difference week over week. It's going to be awesome. But this section of the show is called Permit Deep Dive. And I was going through, speaking of different schools and different things that are getting invested in. Boone High School comprehensive renovation. This is actually going to bid this week, or actually by the end of this month, rather. $150 million renovation to Boone High School. This is in the 32806 area, so kind of the Soto area. If you live in that area, super popular school in general. But yeah, $150 million renovation to that area. So I found that in the deep dive as well. So the next thing I found in the deep dive of permitting data is the Pirates of the Caribbean at Magic Kingdom Lounge. Now, many of you already know this. You've seen the renderings and that kind of thing. This is what they look like. If you haven't, the place looks absolutely incredible. It's going to be right next to the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. And they're already starting to do some work on it. But one of the things that I found in the permit data is that the actual target completion date. Now, some people were saying that it was going to be, in a lot of the blogs I read prior to this, that it would be ready sometime in 2025, like late 2025. But according to this, Disney's saying that they are updating their permitting, and they're saying that 12/1 of 2025 is their targeted completion date. Now, that doesn't always mean that that's going to be the opening date. It could be that just means when the construction's done, and then they're going to do a little bit of little kind of show test and a food test, and then maybe a couple weeks later they actually open it up. But it doesn't look like it's going to be like a Halloween opening. Instead, it's probably going to be more like the end of the year. So fans of Pirate of the Caribbean like me, and you're excited about the tavern coming to Magic Kingdom, looking at December. So I'm pretty excited about it. What else did we find in the permanent data? We saw Lake Nona Library, $15 million. This gal, look at the target completion date is going to be 5/1 of 26. The groundbreaking's already taken place on this, but many people didn't know what was actually coming. If you look at the actual photos, let me get my face out of here. There we go. You look at the photos, it's going to be the City of Orlando library, but they're also going to have a police substation. So for those of you that live in that Narcoossee area, in the Lake Nona area, and you're looking for more of a police presence up and down that Narcoossee area, this is going to bring that as well as a library. And so I haven't been to a library in like quite some time. We buy books on Amazon. We learn a lot of stuff online, but I know a lot of our community talks about how much they need more libraries and more post offices. They talk about that's like one thing we're missing so badly. I haven't seen a new post office and probably I've never seen a new one. They're always just getting refurbished and or falling apart in Orlando. But another library that I saw popping up here is the Horizon West library. And they're saying that it's scheduled to open in 2025. Now, this article is back in 2023, but they actually did over the past couple of weeks finally break ground. I think that they just got a little bit behind. It's going to be 20,000 square feet. It's going to be sitting on just over an acre, and it's right outside of Hamlin. And so it's going to be sort of the first kickoff to that whole huge complex of right kind of, I guess, north of Hamlin in the Horizon West area. And so having the library there anchored by a bunch of other outdoor complexes and that sort of thing, it's going to really give that amenity that I think a lot of people are looking for in the Horizon West area. We're finally starting to see the stuff that we were promised 10 years ago come to fruition. I think that's just a great thing. Angela says, I miss a library. Angela Tucker says, I miss a library. Damien says, when is Jack in the Box opening in Lake Nona? I just saw that. Actually, I don't know, but I'm going to find out. But speaking of food, so we're talking about food. Guess what's coming to SeaWorld? I never would have placed this in SeaWorld, but it's actually going to be Chick-fil-A. So it's going to be a first for a major Florida theme park. Opening date at SeaWorld is not yet announced. But listen, I mean, I remember moving here from the Midwest. We didn't have Chick-fil-A up there. And we came to Florida and, oh, that Lord's Chicken was everywhere. And I was just so excited. But now you can get it in SeaWorld. And I think that's kind of an interesting thing. Let me know what you guys think. Fallon says, yes, I need a library closer to home. I'm stoked. Cody says, Chick-fil-A. Oh my gosh, so funny. And a White Castle in Claremont. Let's go. All the important things the body needs here coming to Central Florida. Let's break for some real estate talk. By the way, as you guys know, this show is brought to you by my real estate team, the Posit Group. If you're looking to sell or buy a house anywhere in Central Florida, we want to be your real estate resource of choice. We've got over 1,500 5-star reviews over on Google. Check us out whenever the time comes. Until then, I just want to be your real estate resource of choice. Hit the subscribe button if you don't mind. Let's get back to the show. So I've got my median, all the sales data that came over from the MLS over the past week, and things are interesting. Like, interesting is the only way that I can put it. I feel like the past 2 years have been interesting. Heck, 4 years have been interesting. We went from like a very normal market to where the world was exploding and we had 30-40% appreciation, and then things really kind of slowed down quite a bit. Q4 was very slow in regards to overall number of sales, and then now my team and I, since the past 2 weeks, we've been talking about how busy it's starting to feel. Like a lot more people, a lot more listings are selling. Stuff that was sitting on the market for a while is finally coming under contract. We've got a lot of buyers that were like, we want to wait till after the election. We don't, regardless of who wins, we just want to wait to have some sort of certainty. They're getting back in the market. Our mortgage partner is saying that more people are reaching out to get pre-approved. So these are good things. But that being said, this is a week of last week. Now, this is holiday week last week, so things are a little bit interesting. But you look at months of inventory. This is the highest that it's been in quite some time. So 6 months of inventory. And for those of you good students that have watched the show for years now, you know that 3 month supply is kind of like the balance. If it's a 1 month supply, which is what it was in 2020, that's a bad thing because it's a crazy seller's market and buyers are missing out. If it's 6, 7, 8, 9 months, then, well, hey, it's a very strong buyer's market. You have kind of opportunity to buy really anything you want and hopefully get the sellers to pay for some of your closing costs. 6 months is kind of trending, right? Like towards that buyer's market. So we're going to see, does this actually last for some time? But 6 months, that's only though, once you get over 400,000. So if you're under 400,000, you're kind of in that mid-range balanced market, 3 to 4 months. And then as you get up over 1 million, it jumps up to 11 months supply. That's a lot of houses for sale over $1 million. And you might say like, oh, that's maybe you do know or don't know, but we've had a massive spike in homes selling over $1 million. So to say that market is just, it's only for the top 10%, it's not. It's like maybe the top 15, 20% at this point. There's a lot of houses all over Central Florida that sell for $1 million, which actually is interesting. You start looking at the average list price right now for a home in Central Florida is $527,000. The median sales price is $400,000. The average sales price is just under $500,000. And so, yeah, we're going to see if that a trend that continues into 2025, that slow Q4 that we saw, does that continue into 2025? Or do buyers get off the fence and start saying, hey, I'm going to take advantage of some of this, go to a seller and say, can I get a little bit of money off to pay for my closing costs and pay down my rate and that sort of thing? It'll be interesting, but either way, we're here to help kind of navigate you through the process. Let's see. JJ says, hey, there's a new apartment building in Lake Nona, 377 units by Georgia-based Flournoy development, 21 acres. Yeah, I think that's the new luxury one that they're going to be updating. Luxury, like what? That's always a funny word to me. Like a luxury apartment used to just mean like you had granite and stainless steel, but now every single apartment building you see is a luxury apartment. Even like affordable housing, it'll say like affordable luxury, like they throw it in there immediately. I don't know if that just means they can charge an extra $20 a month, but it's kind of an interesting thing to think about. Sunrail Cope says, hey, what exactly about downtown Orlando is to make it more appealing? It's kind of getting hard and getting interest. Let's see. What exactly is downtown Orlando doing to make it more appealing? It's kind of hard getting interested when so much space is parking garages. Well, Sunrail, listen, like we need places to park. So I don't disagree that seeing parking garages is not like the most thing that's going to draw me down. But on the other side, people will say, oh, I can't go downtown. I can never find a parking spot. So we need places to park. And yet I think that the problem I hate to see are businesses starting to shut down. And so businesses that have been there 20, 30, 40 years are starting to shut down. And so much of that is because they can't wait until all of these major developments finally take shape. They can't wait for Lake Eola to finally get the revamp that it's looking to get and kind of what happens beyond that. They can't wait for the JW Marriott condos and convention center down there, right? And so they're having to shut down, and then what happens from there is going to be sort of TBD. The reason I'm excited about it though is because I just think it's just ripe for the opportunity. I think I look at downtown and it's actually fairly easy to get to, in my opinion. And you've got a lot of opportunity for like empty spaces that get refilled. But then we do have the lakes and we have the beautiful old neighborhoods and like the stuff they do have mom and pop shops that are thriving in some of those little neighborhoods beyond sort of the central business district. And so that to me is what I'm excited about. Let's see. Where did we miss? Got a lot of people watching tonight. Got 189 people watching live. That's awesome. Thanks. So, by the way, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up, it kind of pushes it out. The YouTube gods will know that the video is worth watching, and we'll send it to some other people. So that means a lot. I appreciate that. Let's see. Enchanted says, hey, we love downtown and the nearby boroughs for food, art, and fun date nights. That's what I'm talking about. That's the downtown charm that I'm thinking. And if we can interconnect it with the downtown central business district, with all of those cool little neighborhoods, that's when we have a winner. Let's see. Tyler Teeter says, hey, have you seen the new neighborhood built on Schofield Road? It's a lot going on. Yeah, I mean, that whole area is going, the whole area up and down Avalon Road and Schofield Road, so much stuff going on in that way. It's interesting though, you say Schofield Road, because I'm wondering if you're thinking about the new road that's going in from 429, the connector out to Claremont, because there's all of this. They took down a bunch of trees. There's all these new roads going in, but that's actually just going to be the 516 going in. That's the one that's supposed to charge your electric car and all that kind of stuff. Matthew has a good point. They're closing all the bars downtown, killing the nightlife. There's a huge uptick in gun violence and homelessness. Yeah, that is the ticket. That's what we got to solve. You are not wrong, my friend. Cody says, can we get a Culver's next? I think I actually know a bunch of people that are couples that own a bunch of Culver's. So let me know where you think they need one. I think we're looking at Haines City and some other places right now. Let's keep going. Sean says we need a Villages update video. Yeah, I need to update my Villages video. I need to update my celebration video. We've done obviously Lake Nona and Horizon West a lot, but like a lot of the downtown stuff for sure. But then really we need to get more north. Like we still have not done an Altamont Springs video. I need to update like my Lake Mary Heathrow video. So that's going to be on the pipeline for this year. Let's see what else. We got time for maybe 3 more questions that we're going to wrap up yesterday. Casey Bad Boy says, hey, I saw you yesterday. Can't wait to see that Crossberry video. Oh, you were down in St. Cloud. That's so cool. Yeah, we've got like 3 new big neighborhoods. There's going to be like 22,000 houses coming to St. Cloud, and not in the Sunbridge area. I'm talking about kind of off 91, the turnpike there. And one of the things I was blown away, I'm going to give away a little bit of the video right here. One of the things I was blown away when I looked off in the Crossberry area was that Disney World was 25 minutes away. And this is like, afternoon time. It wasn't like, it's 5 a.m. It was 25 minutes away. The downtown Orlando area was 30 minutes away, and MCO was like 15 to 18 minutes away. So I believe that area has like something really special. When you think about the starting prices in that area are like high 300s, low 300s for a townhouse. And so with all the other building going on and then access to the lakes, anyways, that's what the video is going to be about. Got to stay tuned for more till next week. Teddy says, hey, I went to Celebration when we visited the parks a few weeks, and I love that video. Love that town. Me too. We used to live there. We love it. We go there often. My barber's there. It's a good spot for sure. It's actually one of the things that convinced me to move to Orlando, believe it or not. All right, let's see. Mike says, hey, how difficult is it to find apartments that allow dogs that fall under the breed restriction category? Breed restriction. I mean, I know folks that have all kinds of dogs and that live in apartments, but it's going to be, I think, case by case, neighborhood or developer by developer. But yeah, I know a lot of my clients, a lot of my friends and family own a dog and live in the apartment life. Mr. Khan says, please update your Mount Dora's video. You know what? So our sister channel, Posa Group, that's our real estate company. We have another channel that's just strictly deep dives that you won't see on my channel, like kind of the more micro niche deep dives. And we actually just dropped a Mount Dora video. It's actually very good. Take a look at it. Will says, hey, great to see you at the Wave. Thoughts on Sunbridge development for those that missed out on Laureate Park. Same, different advantages, totally new new angle, totally. Yeah, I think it's the same developer. It's going to be a lot of the same builders. And yeah, definitely a different take. It's going to be that nature hood. It's going to have a lot more walking trails and a lot of other things more spaced out there. But eventually it is. I mean, it's over 20,000 acres. So massive thing. It's like twice the size of Lake Nona. And so if you're willing to wait for all the development coming on, I think it's a great spot. But yeah, great to see you at the Wave, man. What a cool party we had there. All right. Well, I think we are going to wrap up. Let's see. Gosh. Let me know what other questions you guys have as I'm going through this. Maybe if you have any more burning questions here. Speaking of downtown, so Emily says for events, sure, sports, etc. But I'm not going to go out, hang out, and grab a drink at night. Where would you go grab a drink at night? Where's like your spot? Here we go. So Chuck says, "Hey, I just hopped in. What are my thoughts on Titusville? Word on the company who's pouring in $2 billion into the town." Yeah, that was one thing I mentioned. I think you maybe just missed that. For what I hear, I'm guessing it's SpaceX. I don't know anybody else that's going to be tossing that kind of money around on the coast there. But you said you're working on developing 40 townhomes over there. It's interesting. I say this all the time. Like I've been to Titusville maybe 8 or 9 times, and every time I go there, it feels right for development. And yet there's just not a ton yet going on in Titusville. All the stuff along the coast is doing really well. All up and down Cocoa, New Smyrna. There's a bunch of other things on the coast that are doing very well. But yet like that Titusville area just doesn't seem like it's exploding yet. And yeah, I don't know if that's just because people don't want to have rockets in their backyard taken off but I have a lot of clients that work on the coast that then come over to Orlando to live. And if you're developing out some townhomes, keep me posted. Let's see. Oh, this is a good question. So, Salome SMH, shake your head. So why isn't there more information about Ocoee? I'm not from Orlando, but I've been looking at these areas, well located, and feel like Ocala has a great central location. Is it the proximity to Pine Hills the problem? Yeah, I think you nailed it. I think that the proximity to crime and all the other things are some reason, but there's some areas of Ocoee that are fantastic. There's little spots off of 429 that have great retail and great neighborhoods. We sell all up and down Ocoee. My team and I'm in Winter Garden right next door to you. So I think there's a lot of affordable options as well there for sure. It just hasn't been like that massive desirable spot just yet. But you look at like Apopka, Ocoee, there's a bunch of things up and down the 429 that are more affordable than their surrounding areas that have newer options. And so just kind of go through. We can help you do the pros and cons when the time comes, if that's something you're looking at. Alexa says, probably grabbing a drink around the Mills District or Winter Park. Great job, by the way, on the Hourglass video today, Alexa. You're a rock star. Let's see. Not going to answer that question. Way too early on the Magnifica if it's worth the hype or not. Obviously, we don't know where it's at or the pricing or any of the other kind of things. So we will update you the moment that we actually find out, because I'm waiting with massive anticipation to see what happens there. All right, guys, I'm wrapping up for tonight. Thank you guys so much for making a successful first night back in 2025. We're going to continue to improve the stream. We're going to do call-in nights where you guys can call in and ask your questions and kind of have a little bit more sort of interaction with us back and forth. We're going to have a bunch of other cool things planned for you and really up our level of the live streams, have some different guests and that sort of things in 2025. So I just want to say I appreciate you guys watching the show. It means the world to me. We'll see you guys on the next video.